What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we are going to be talking about this guy. This is the Houge K320. This knife was sent to me by Mr. Casey over at Knives Fast, quickly becoming one of my favorite people in this community. We talk all the time. He is really cool guy, and he has got a great channel. I will have his channel linked down below this freaking camera. I swear to God. I do this on a Osmo Mobile 2. And so a lot of people have been asking me, why is your camera moving? Well, it's because it's not like on a regular tripod. It is on an Osmo Mobile 2. And if I don't get that daggum thing just right as far as the what do you call it? The balancing, I guess, it wants to move around and it drives me crazy. Ooh, what? Anyways, let's get into this knife. This knife was sent to me, like I said, by Casey over at Knives Fast. And I have had a few, not a lot, but probably just a couple of Houge knives on the channel. And Houge knives, this is what I love about them. I love that they're made in America. Okay, that is awesome. They have pretty good materials on most of their models. The Doug Ritter, the one that everybody compares to the Bug Out, or not the Bug Out, but the gosh, can't talk. Oh my God, brain fart. The freaking
2 hours later.
Freaking Griptilian. Jeez. That knife I've had in the hand. I love that knife. I think I had the EX1, something like that. It's a plunge lock, which is it was pretty cool. It had their Damascus, which is what they call, the layered Damascus. It was pretty cool. This one, the K320 is supposed to be a companion with the Sig Sauer P320, which is their firearm. And I'm a huge fan of Sig's firearms. I don't own one, but I have shot them, and they are stellar. They supply, their weapons to our military. A lot of law enforcement agencies use them, and they are very good firearms. And Houge is where they started, is making grips for guns. And so as you can see here, this one has the typical polymer handles with this very nice texture on the handle. And so I do like that. This knife ergonomically is really comfortable. I was able to use this knife very comfortably to do all kinds of sorts of things in my regular EDC tasks that I do. You guys know me, I don't use my knives very hard. It's the regular opening boxes, the occasional zip tie, cardboard, that kind of stuff. And using this knife, it really did work well, and it was very comfortable in my hand. It does have a deep carry pocket clip with the little American flag there, which, come on, that's just awesome. Kind of a different little lube, whatever you call these things, almost looks like a cheese grater on the pocket clip, which I think looks cool. Doesn't, really do anything otherwise, but so it just looks cool. It went in and out of pocket really well because it does sit deep carry. This pocket clip is tip up or down, right and left-handed, because you see you have your holes in every spot. So that's really nice. And with the Axis style lock, I can't remember what Houge calls this thing, the Able lock, I believe. I can't remember. It is truly an ambidextrous knife, which I know a lot of people love. That's why people love Benchmades and the Axis lock, is because it is definitely an ambi knife. So that's really cool. The blade shape on this guy, I do like. I like the fact that it does have a hole for deployment. Very nice blade shape, very utilitarian, with a little bit of flat and belly. Very stabby point to get into those packages and whatnot. Very useful blade, I will say. I did like that. I mean, it's an American-made product, but I have problems. The action on this thing is not good. In my opinion, it's not. I love to use the hole. So when I saw this thing had a hole, I was like, yeah. And I can do it, but it's not, it's just because of the Axis style lock that this one has, it's not very, wow, you can't really get it out there. It doesn't make that sound that I like, whatever, it thwacks unless I really get it really well. The thumb, oh, I have to give it wrist for the thumb, that's for sure. I have to kind of do that number to open it up like this. Which is not a problem. And then, of course, you can pull back on the lock and open it like you can and I really prefer this. I think this is, fine, and it's fun, very, very fidgety. So I do like that. And I'm not a huge fan of polymer, but the polymer on this guy is very well done. I mean, they know what they're doing when it comes to that. I'm just not a fan of polymer. I would rather have G10 or some other materials, but the construction is fine. The fit and finish is good. I mean, it's a molded polymer, so it's stamped out and all that stuff. There's really not much hand work that goes into this or any other kind of finishing. So it's a good work knife. I will say that. I found myself a lot, if I wasn't really doing the opening like this, I was actually using the hole to thumb roll it out and do it that way. That's actually pretty satisfying, to be able to just open it up, stow it. So as far as a tool, it really works. It does have the partial liners. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. So the liners only go down to maybe like right here, which in turn makes this pretty lightweight, but still feels sturdy enough to get your work done and whatnot. You know what? I don't know if I actually, it cut really well. I will say that it's about 20 thousandths behind the edge. So it is a slicey little blade. I really did like that. It came really, really sharp. The only thing is, you see, where the finger tool, come on camera, where the finger tool is, juice, and where the sharpening ends there, that's kind of problematic when you're sharpening. I mean, I didn't sharpen this knife, but whenever I was looking at it, yeah, that could be kind of problematic, the way that this sharpening tool, or it doesn't really have a sharpening tool. It's just where the finger tool goes and then it stops. So I would rather see a little bit of a sharpening tool behind the finger tool. It would take away a little bit of your blade length, but I think in my uses, I would rather have just a little bit of a sharpening tool there to make it easier to sharpen, because as you come down on this, I mean, you're just going to dig into that area there, and it's not going to look good because the coating on the blade seems to be very nice. I really, I used it to cut a little bit of cardboard, and then of course, the cardboard dust comes on there, you wipe it off, it comes really clean, it didn't wear on anything. I didn't go overboard because it's not my knife. It does have a lanyard hole for you lanyard guys out there, but I only use a lanyard very, very rarely. I hardly ever use it, but on some smaller knives, I have it to help with the grip. This thing is a decent size, and with that forward finger control, the shining feature on this knife is the ergonomics. I love the way it feels in my hand. If it didn't have this finger control, it would still be comfortable, and it is comfortable, but the finger control makes it for me, and it does on a lot of knives. You guys know that I love a forward finger control. Really locks you in. Oh, I wanted to love this knife, but I guess I'm spoiled now with action. I can't stand it because I want to put my finger there and I want to flick it out, but that happens a lot. Another, obviously Benchmades. This is one of my favorite Benchmades. This is the Super Freak. So the action on this knife is worlds different than on this knife. They're two different knives. They're two different price points. I get it. But I can use the thumb stud on this to do the reverse flick, and it just kind of falls shut. On this guy, it does fall shut. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. Because most of the time I was kind of giving it a little bit of that. So if you give it a little bit of wrist, it'll go back down. But, it's running on washers, which is nice, if you're for a work knife especially. But it's just, this is so much better than this, in my opinion. Now, you're talking about a $200 knife versus, I think this is like $127, $130. You get S30V, so you get a really good steel on this guy. And, S30V is kind of the industry standard now. It's not the best, but it's not crap. It's actually a really good steel, especially for $127. I like that. Hardware is good. It just feels really sturdy, but I'm not excited. It doesn't excite me. I carried this and I was so comfortable cutting with it, but I didn't like carrying it because I like to fidget with my knives, and this just didn't do it for me. It just didn't. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to get some specs. We're going to get the camera turned around and show some size comparisons, because it's not a small knife. It definitely fits my hands, and it's a size that I like to carry, and we'll compare it to some of the staples on the channel. So all right, let's get, oh my gosh, Butterfingers, get you a really close look. This texture, I really do enjoy it. I mean, like I said, they know what they're doing as far as grips and ergonomics, because it really does work. So it definitely keeps it in your hand. You do not feel like this knife is going anywhere. So really, really dig the ergonomics. You can see the sandwich construction there. A little bit of jimping back here. I don't usually hold my knives like this, especially when I have a finger troll. So my finger and my thumb was back here away from the jimping, so didn't really use it. But it's nice if you are going to use it, maybe to do some stabbing tasks. So yeah, not that bad. The overall length of this guy, like I said, not a small knife, not a huge knife. It comes in right at 8 inches with a 3.5-inch blade and a 3-inch cutting edge due to that finger troll, which I will gladly sacrifice every day of the week. Your blade width is about an inch and a half. You've got 130 thousandths blade thickness, and it comes up to a pretty high saber grind, which translates to 20 thousandths behind the edge. It does cut well. This knife is a knife, and it is designed to cut, and it does that very, very well. The handle length is about 4.5, and it weighs about 4.16 ounces, which I actually thought it was lighter. It doesn't feel like it even weighs for a little over 4 ounces. It does feel pretty light with these polymer handles, but you know, you've got a decent sized blade here, so it's you know, that's where most of your weight is coming from that you know, 3.5-inch slab of S30V. Let's go ahead and put it up against some other staples, shall we? Here it is against the Spyderco Pm2. As you can see, the PM2 barely, I mean, it's just a tad bit longer than this guy. I believe that this does carry better than the PM2, even if the PM2 has a deep carry pocket clip, just because of this, you know, the hump here. You get this knife that fits pretty, I mean, it's well, let's just see. How wide is it? It's about the same. It is about the same. So, but you know, obviously this knife just felt like it carried better, but I don't have a deep carry pocket clip on this. Lefty EDC sent me a black one for this. I just have not put it on because I've got black hardware coming. So yeah, stay tuned for that, because that's going to look sick. And but yeah, PM2 just a little bit smaller than that. We'll go ahead and put the Benchmade back out here. This is the Super Freak, and it is a little bit longer as well. Relatively thin. The Benchmade looks like it's just a tad bit thicker as far as this way. So, but yeah, the Benchmade's action just is hands down better than the Houge. I get it. It's a totally different knife. But I just don't feel like what they've got going on here with the Axis style lock is hitting it on the head like it could be. It definitely could be better, and I wish that they would have taken the time to do that, because this knife would have been such a winner if that would have happened. If I was able to get this knife to drop and to have a better action, see how every time I try to do it, even if it goes all the way up, I mean, it's like silent, like it barely gets there, and I just don't. It's just not me. You know, those are things that I care about. So you might not care about those things. And for what it is, it's an excellent tool. It's just not something that I would enjoy carrying all the time, because I like to fidget with my stuff. I mean, like with this one, I can carry it because I can really, really get a good reverse flick on this. And, you know, it's just more satisfying, I guess, for me in where I am in my collection and what I like to carry. Can I recommend this knife for $127? I can totally recommend this knife to somebody who wants a tool. However, I do think there are other or better options out there. They make this in an automatic. They make this in a few different colors. So you do have options out there. And I believe a lot of people would like this. I mean, as far as ergonomics, it's where it shines. I think this is a super comfy knife. And if you're using your knives on a daily basis, we're doing some hard work, I believe this would do you well, because S30V will hold an edge for a reasonable amount of time, but it's also pretty easy to sharpen. So I think for what you're getting, it's worth it. It's just not my cup of tea. I want to thank Casey over at Knives Fast, because he sent me this knife. He was bummed that I didn't like it as much as he did. But, you know, that's the great thing about this community. You know, we're sending each other different knives back and forth. And, you know, not everybody has the same taste. That's what makes it interesting, because I would have never probably bought this knife. So now I had an opportunity to get it in hand, use it. And it does have some very good qualities. It's just not some of the things that are probably nitpicky by me would not allow me to really feel good about the purchase. But I am not the, you know, they don't make knives and call me up and be like, okay, I'm gonna make this knife for you. You good with it? You know, they make knives for everybody. And I know a lot of people that would just absolutely love this knife because it has features that people like, very ambidextrous, the thumb hole, even though the action on it is not the, you know, the greatest, it definitely can be done and it's easy to do. It just doesn't have the action that I like. I know I'm kind of rambling, but Casey, I really appreciate you letting me borrow this, and check it out, guys. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.